It all started one cold winter night. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, waiting for sleep to take over. The wind howled outside, and the branches of the tree near my window tapped against the glass. At first I thought it was just the tree, but then I heard something else, something strange, a faint scratching sound. I brushed it off as the wind playing tricks on me. I turned over, pulled the blankets tighter, and forced my eyes shut, but the scratching didn't stop. It was steady, persistent, like someone or something was trying to get in. I sat up, heart racing, and looked toward the window. The blinds were closed and I could see nothing but the dark outline of the tree. Must be the branches, I told myself, trying to calm down. The next night, the same thing happened. The scratching started just as I was drifting off to sleep. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to send a chill down my spine. I got up, walked over to the window and pulled the blinds back, expecting to see the tree brushing against the glass. But nothing was there. The tree wasn't even close enough to touch the window. I stood there for a moment, staring out into the darkness, trying to make sense of what I was hearing. There was nothing outside. No animals, no branches, just the cold, still night. I closed the blinds again, feeling uneasy, and climbed back into bed. But sleep didn't come easy that night. Over the next few days, the scratching became a regular occurrence. Every night, without fail, it would start around the same time. Scratch, scratch, scratch. I told a few friends about it, and they laughed it off, saying it was probably just a raccoon or a stray cat, but I knew it wasn't. The sound was too deliberate, too consistent. One night, I decided I had to see for myself what was going on. I grabbed a flashlight and waited for the scratching to begin. When it did, I quietly crept toward the window, trying not to make a sound. I pulled the blinds back, shined the flashlight outside, and nothing. Just the empty yard and the old tree swaying in the wind. Frustrated, I went back to bed, feeling a growing sense of dread. Whatever was making that sound didn't want to be seen. A week later, things took a turn for the worse. The scratching became louder, more frantic. It felt like whatever was outside was getting bolder, like it was desperate to get in. One night, as the sound grew unbearable, I couldn't take it anymore. I stormed over to the window, threw the blinds open and yelled, "Who's there?" But no one answered. Just the same empty yard, the same darkness. I was starting to lose sleep, and my nerves were shot. The next day, I decided to install a security camera outside my window. I figured if something or someone was messing with me, the camera would catch it. That night, I set up the camera, made sure it was working, and went to bed feeling a little better. The scratching came as usual. I ignored it, telling myself I'd finally have proof in the morning. The next day, I checked the footage, expecting to see an animal or maybe even a prankster. But what I saw made my blood run cold. The camera had recorded the sound of the scratching, clear as day, but there was nothing there. No movement, no animals, no branches, just an empty, still night, and the eerie sound of scratching. I couldn't explain it. I showed the footage to a friend, hoping for some rational explanation, but he just looked at me, pale and wide-eyed, and said, "That's not normal, man." That night I couldn't sleep at all. The scratching continued, but now it seemed closer, more intense. It felt like it was inside the room with me. I lay in bed, frozen, too scared to move, my mind racing with thoughts of what could be causing it. Then, in the middle of the night, the scratching stopped. For the first time in weeks, there was silence, but the silence wasn't comforting. It was thick, heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. Suddenly, I heard a soft tap, not at the window, but at the door. My heart pounded in my chest. I didn't want to look, but I couldn't stop myself. Slowly, I turned toward the door. The handle was moving ever so slightly, like someone was trying to open it from the other side. I jumped out of bed, grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a lamp, and stood there, trembling. The handle stopped moving and the room fell into silence once again. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night, just sat there, waiting for whatever was out there to make its next move. The next morning, I packed a bag and left. I stayed at a friend's place for a few days, too terrified to return to my house. When I finally did go back, the scratching never returned. But every now and then, when I'm lying in bed late at night, I swear I can still hear it. Faint. Far away, like it's waiting to start again. If you've ever experienced something strange like this, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spooky tales.